the power of time. Once upon a time, in a small town nestled in the heart of America, there were twin brothers named Jake and Luke. Although they were born on the same day under the same roof, their paths in life were drastically different. One was driven, focused, and disciplined, Jake. The other was carefree, spontaneous, and often delayed his responsibilities, Luke. On a typical Sunday morning, while the rest of the world was still asleep, Jake woke up at the crack of dawn. He believed that the early hours were the most precious time to work on his goals. Sitting by the window with his books laid out, Jake worked tirelessly on his studies, making sure everything was prepared for the challenges ahead. Meanwhile, Luke, as always, did things on his own terms. He had no interest in waking up early or studying before the world started moving. He preferred to spend his time playing basketball with his friends, enjoying the freedom of not having any obligations. He saw no reason to rush. He could always do it later. Their parents, Mark and Lisa, noticed the stark contrast between the twins. Mark, the father, would often sigh when he saw Jake working hard while Luke spent his time playing. One Sunday, as usual, Jake was up early, ready to tackle his day. He had a history test coming up and needed to finish his science project. It was a lot of work, but Jake didn't mind. He loved the feeling of accomplishment after putting in the effort.
Jake, why are you awake so early?
Mark asked, surprised to see his son up and about when the sun was barely rising.
I have a test tomorrow, and I need to finish my science project for Mom in 2 days.
Jake replied confidently, his focus unwavering. As Jake continued his work, Lisa came into the room with a fresh cup of coffee for Mark. She smiled as she saw Jake working so hard.
Look at Jake.
Lisa said to Mark.
He wakes up early, takes care of his responsibilities, and still finds time to study. I wish Luke would learn something from him.
Just then, Luke walked in, his face covered in sweat and his clothes damp from playing basketball with his friends. He had no intention of studying today.
Mom, I'm starving. Can I have breakfast now?
Luke asked eagerly.
Luke, you're all sweaty from playing outside. Go take a shower first, and then I'll give you breakfast.
Lisa responded firmly. Luke groaned.
Even on a day off, you won't let me relax. Why do I have to study every single day? I'll study later, I promise.
Lisa's voice softened, but she was insistent.
Luke, you've got the whole day ahead of you. You should start studying now. If you don't prepare, you'll regret it later.
Mark added.
Luke, remember, time is a precious resource. The earlier you get started, the better you'll be. Don't waste it.
Luke just shrugged.
I'll be fine. I'll study in the evening and still get everything done.
The day went by. Jake continued his studies, keeping his focus sharp. Meanwhile, Luke went out to play with his friends again, his focus entirely on the present moment, not the future. Later that evening, when Mark returned home, he found Jake had already completed his history revision and even decorated his science project. He smiled with pride as he saw his son's hard work paying off.
Jake, you're ahead of the game. Look at all this work,
Mark said, clearly impressed.
Thanks, Dad. I finished everything, so I can relax tomorrow.
Jake replied with a sense of satisfaction. But Luke, he was nowhere to be found. Mark raised an eyebrow and asked,
Where's Luke? Has he started his work yet?
Just then, Luke walked in holding a basketball bat in his hand, a look of indifference on his face.
Oh, you're back already? I'll get to my work later.
Mark couldn't hide his disappointment.
Luke, you've been playing all day and haven't even touched your books. You're behind, son. This isn't how we succeed in life.
The next day, when the history test results came in, Jake's grades reflected his hard work. He had aced the test. Luke, on the other hand, struggled. His lack of preparation led to poor results. His teacher was disappointed, and Luke felt a pang of regret. When he got home, Lisa wasn't pleased with his performance.
Luke, I don't understand. You have everything you need to succeed, but you keep putting things off,
she said, her voice stern but caring. Mark looked at the test results in his hand. He was not surprised.
Luke, this is exactly what I was worried about. You can't just rely on luck and hope things will work out. You need to put in the effort, every day.
Luke, feeling guilty, sat down.
I don't know what happened, Dad. I thought I had more time.
Mark smiled gently.
Time is never on our side unless we make it work for us. Look at Jake. He uses his time wisely and gets the results he deserves. You can do the same, but you have to stop putting things off and take control of your time.
Luke nodded, understanding now.
You're right, Dad. I'll start managing my time better from now on. I want to make you proud.
The lesson was clear. Time waits for no one. It doesn't matter how old we are or what we're going through. If we don't learn to manage our time, we'll find ourselves left behind. So here's the takeaway from this story. The key to success lies in how we manage our time. The effort we put in today shapes the results we see tomorrow. If this story moved you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and tell me how you're bringing hope into your own life, no matter the obstacles. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to MGS Stories. My name is Sunny Rahman, and here we bring wisdom to fuel your modern day journey. Remember, time is what we want most, but what we use worst.